Okay guys, we have Melissa DeLaCruz back with us again for something special, right?
Yeah, like holiday party vibe. Even if they're not going anywhere, you could enjoy it yourself for the holiday. So I figured I would do like 3-dimensional inspired nails to get you through Christmas and New Year's.
I like that all the way through. That way you don't have to do a change out real quick. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too, let's get started. Hi guys, I'm back. I'm going to show you 3 different dimensional nails to get you through the holidays. So let's get started. I've already prepped all 3 of her nails. So I'm going to put Protein Bond, 2 coats, on every nail. So I start on the bottom and work my way up and bring it a little closer to me. Well, this one's kind of empty, but it's good to the last drop. I'll pour it in my other one. I never ever let it go bad. I always save it. The little drops on the bottom are amazing. The thicker it gets, I feel it sticks better. So then wait a few seconds if you're only doing 3 nails. Go back in and do your second coat. Okay, let's form all 3. I think I'll do almond shape. So now I'm going to extend all 3 of them at once with clear Sculptor. I like to use clear Sculptor. You could use any gel really you want to extend with. What I like about clear Sculptor is it doesn't move when you put it on. So you're able to do as many extensions as you want at once without it flowing somewhere you don't want it actually. Self-leveling somewhere else you don't want it.
Self-loving.
Self-loving. Self-leveling somewhere you don't want it. Okay. So what I'm doing is I place it down, get my product in front of my brush, kind of work it to my corner, connect it, bring it to the other side, all the way to my side wall, then feather it all down with a very light touch. So I'm going to bring it down to where I pinched it, just a little past it. Okay, let's do one more. I'm going to get my product in front of my brush, walk it to one side. If you notice, I usually go to my left first because that's my non-dominant sign. It's always easier for me to get it to my right side with a little bit more product. So I tend to always do my left first and then work to my right. It's just a habit I have. So now I'm going to wipe my brush on both sides, kind of flatten it out, make sure my sides are pretty even. They look like they're pretty even, but I like to go clean it to make sure. Okay, so now I'll put her under the light for as long as it takes me to do the other hand, or at least 30 seconds. Now I'm going to use my base. I'm going to base from Cuticle to Free Edge. So this will hold on to my extension and ensure that when I take off my form, that it's going to hold on pretty good. So I'll get it on all 3. I'll kind of show you the process that I do. Get it on all 3. Then what I'm going to do, once I get it on all 3, I'm going to look at them from the side, and I'm going to look for any indentation that the form's not going to be real straight, so it doesn't have a little dip. It looks like all of hers are straight. If there was a spot that seemed like a dip, I would just take a little, add it. It would self-level and then go under the light. Now I'm going to cure this for 30 seconds. So now I'm going to remove my forms, pinch in the middle, remove all 3 or all 10 if you're doing a set. Okay, so we'll start with our first design. So the colors I'm going to use is Gold 101, Evergreen, and Red 102. I'm gonna do like kind of Christmas color marble, and I'm gonna encapsulate it. It gives it kind of a different effect than being on top. I'm going to take ManiQ Base first and just cover the entire nail. Okay, what this is gonna allow me to do is when I set my colors on top of the uncured base, it's gonna kind of start flowing for me, and I'll take my brush and just kind of move it where I want it. If you don't use base with it, it works as well. It just doesn't kind of flow as fast, or as like organically, I should say. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is put down the colors just kind of organically where I want them. And take my gold, kind of drag it through a few places. Now I'm going to take my detailer, my micro detailer brush. I'm just gonna kind of flow it where I want my gel to go. See right here how you could get really close to the sides with your brush? Right now I'll flash set it, so like about 30 seconds at the most, so you're working on the other hand. It's no downtime at all. Let's say that you want it in a few more spots, or you didn't quite get it everywhere. You want it to flow a little more. Let's see, let's put a little bit of the colors on here. Just gonna put it on my tile. I had a little bit left over right there. So I'm going to take my base, my ManiQ base, again. And you could see it kind of ran there. It's fine, it's not a big deal. Sometimes when you marble like this, it does that. So now that you have your uncured base and you want to add a little bit more color, say you want green, come in through here. See how it kind of will just melt into each other? You could add wherever you really want. I kind of like the gold the most, so I'm going to add a little more detail of gold. So see how it kind of melts in there? Kind of helps you to marble a little easier with the base down first. Put a little more gold in between there. Looks pretty good. So now I'm going to cure it for 30 seconds. So I'll show you a little trick that I do before I encapsulate it if it kind of drags down here. I like to get my 150 file. Remember to hold one side and just file straight, real soft. It's not going to cause a lot of dust. I'm going to show you kind of to remove the dust you made. This kind of gives you an idea of where to stop on your sidewall. Okay, so see the little dust there? All I'm going to do is just take my brush with a little bit of gel, wipe it on my tile, wipe it off, wipe it on my tile. Okay, as you can see, it looks like it's kind of crazy, kind of goes to one side. It's just because the gel's going to flow. When I encapsulate it, it's going to look really straight once I file it. You know what I think I want to add to this is I would like to add just a little bit of detail of whites. Let's get some Fizz from Mission Control. I'll put another coat of base. So you could layer it as much as you want. Then I'm going to come in here, get my white, and kind of outline a little bit of it. Oh yeah, that made it look way more dimensional. So you could change your mind in the middle of your design. I do it all the time. Maybe I'll go a little right here. Okay, that looks enough. So 30 more seconds. Honestly, while I'm designing, I have a vision and I usually end up adding, or sometimes I take a color away. It just depends. That's okay. You still know what you're doing. Your mind's just changing. So now I'm going to use my Build Pink, my favorite to encapsulate with. What I'm going to do is get a good amount on my brush. Remember, you could do this in like 2 or 3 times if you need to. Don't try to get all your bulk at first, but do try to cover every part of your nail that you need covered with your first round. So I'm moving really, really a light touch, just kind of guiding it. If you notice when I go to my corners, I kind of pivot my brush. The reason why I pivot my brush, it stops it from moving that direction. It kind of changes the direction for it. So once I cover it all, I'm going to flash set her and work on her other hand while she's flash setting. So my clients actually go under the light themselves. I work with 2 lights. So if I tell them go under or just touch the light while I'm working, they know to go flash set. At first when they're new, you kind of have to schedule a little more time to kind of tell them what to do. But after a while, they pretty much know. Okay, so when I look at it from the side, you could totally see there's a big dip. So I'm gonna apply most of my product through here, through the middle part of my nail. I anchor her finger down so it helps it flow. And as you encapsulate it, it makes your nail look really dimensional. This is pretty on top of the nail too, but for some reason, I usually encapsulate them because I like the look of the dimension. Okay, let's flash set this 30 seconds. So I'm gonna add just a little more right here. The longer the nail, the more you have to add, it seems. When it's warmer weather, I find like it flows faster. When it's cooler, it stays more in its spot. I'm gonna add just a little more there. You kind of have to envision where you want your stress to be. Yeah, that's gonna be perfect. So let's flash set that. So these are the products I'm gonna use in my next nail. I'm gonna use ManiQ colors. I'm gonna use Ruby 101 and Scarlet 101. They're red. I'll use ManiQ top and my ultimate finish on top. The colors I'm going to use, the embellishments I'm gonna use are Disco Rodeo, Dark Gold, Raspberry. This one's mint, I believe. Yeah, this is mint, Blueberry, and Lemonade. So let's get started. I'm opening my Scarlet and my Ruby. I'm going to polish the entire nail. Oh, I love this red. I forgot about it. Super pretty. Okay, so I'll cover the entire nail, then go under the light for a few seconds to flash set it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is use my Ruby red, and I'm going to put it in just random spots, maybe some right here. Just kind of use my imagination through it. I'll flash set that. So now I'm going to go into my dark gold glitter. So I'm going to touch my glitter, just kind of randomly, organically put it in wherever you want, really. There's no rhyme or reason, just your imagination. Okay, I kind of like that. So I'm gonna kind of press it in a little. I like to flash it again, and the reason being is when I put another coat on, I don't want my glitter to glide down. It still has curing time. It'll stick to that dispersion layer, and when you cure it, it sticks really well to it. So really about 15 to 20 seconds is plenty of time. So now I'm going to take my ManiQ Base Gel, and I'm going to put it from cuticle to free edge. So you see I go over the gold and it really doesn't move because it cured really well on it. So now what I'm going to do is open my Mylars and my glitter. Okay, again, when I pick these up, I am taking quite a few out because I want certain pieces, but I take my fingers and kind of rub it through, and you can see how they come out really fine. The finer the pieces, the better they facet. It looks more like a glass effect. If it has a lot of pieces on it, it tends to be a little more dull. Okay, so now what I'm going to do after I have the uncured base, I'm going to kind of touch my nail, pick up pieces of my Mylar, overlap them, get it wet again, pick random pieces up. Again, you see me kind of move it to see how it's going to facet. Now, if you notice how I'm overlapping them, it's putting a lot of great Christmas colors together. Perfect. Okay, so when you have everything everywhere you want it, cure this 30 seconds. So now I'm going to put one more coat of base. I'm going to add one more glitter. And the reason why I didn't add it before is I kind of want to put some over my Mylar and some not. So it wouldn't have stuck to my Mylar pieces because they weren't sticky. So I'm going to get my cool color right here. I'm going to use my little brush so I don't oversaturate it. I just want little facets and spots. So it's going to kind of create light. That looks pretty cool. Okay, let's flash set it. So once you have all your embellishments in there, you can see it's pretty thin. I'm going to encapsulate it all with Build Pink. Sometimes it's hard to picture your design, but once you start encapsulating it with your clear, or your Build Pink, you start seeing it magnify and it kind of comes alive. You see like different colors of lights in it. It's super pretty. So you kind of have to trust the process. Again, see how my sides, how I pivot my brush to the side, pivot back to this side. This is kind of keeping my gel more in the middle so it doesn't really run to the side. I'm going to flash set her for 30 seconds as I work on the other hand. This seems like a lot of steps. It flows when you have it all out and you're doing multiple nails. If you're only doing one nail, it's fine. It takes about as much time to do one nail as it does to do 3, really, because you're waiting for the time. And if you're doing more than one, you're actually working. So now I'm gonna look at it from the side. I really only need a little bit right there. Again, I really don't care what it looks like when I add it because gel files so easy. So now I'm going to flash set it so I could go on to the next nail. The colors I'm gonna use is Rodeo, or Disco Rodeo, I should say, or Rodeo Disco, whatever you wanna call it. And Party Ninja, some gold foil, some resolution, some black glitter, some star sand glitter, some crushed pearls, and some Chameleon Flakes. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with my black ManiQ. No, this isn't ManiQ, this is Go Time. I picked Go Time on purpose. The reason being is one coat coverage pretty well, but it does dry without a tacky layer. So I'm gonna show you the trick how to use it. I do this all the time, so trust me, it works. Get as close as I can to the cuticle. But remember, if I file some away, I'm not worried about it. I could always touch it up at the end. Kind of get some off there. I'm gonna cure it for 30 seconds only. The reason why I cure it for 30 seconds only, it takes a full minute to fully cure our Go Time colors. It cures pretty well in 30 when you want to layer it. So it has kind of a little tack left to where when I put my next gel layer on, it's going to hold on to it. If I fully cure it for 1 minute, I have done that before. It worked, but I prayed about it because if it's a smooth surface, usually gel doesn't really stick on. So I've been doing the 30 seconds in between my Go Time and it works amazing. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is put base from cuticle to free edge, making sure you get it on your sides. It's so important because remember, your sides aren't as tacky as your other gel will cure because it is Go Time. Now I'm going to kind of create a dimension and I'm going to kind of do it in layers. I'm going to use jet black, crushed pearls, and a little bit of resolution. Okay, so right here I'm going to use my other gel brush because I don't want to get it everywhere. So I'm going to kind of, and this is more of a New Year's look. It could be, you could wear it through the whole holiday. But I'm going to kind of put a little bit of black. You know what, on second thought, I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use that for my other glitter. No big deal, that happens sometime. I want this a little more chunky, a little more. Kind of bring it through here and up a little. Okay, you really can't see black on black very well, so now what I'm going to do is take this brush and get my little crushed pearls and add it to the black. And you'll see a little bit of light coming through it. Don't want a whole lot. Now I'm going to wipe my brush a little and get my resolution or a really fine glitter that kind of glows inside.
Funkadelic would be pretty in that too, huh?
Funkadelic would be amazing in here. Good idea. So Funkadelic would give more of like a really cool, like kind of look like a star, like a twinkle of a purple.
Purple.
Yeah. Okay, so what I did is I'm trying to create like, this part's gonna look like the deepest in my nail when I'm done with it. So I'm gonna do it in layers. Okay, kind of make a mess, right? That's what glitter does. I think I'm gonna use my little flakes right now. So let's use a detail brush for that. Because it's so fine, I kind of like to put it under the nail if possible. Okay, and then kind of just place it around what I just did. But you can't talk, okay? Because when you talk, did you see what it did? So I'm telling you what to do, now I'm gonna do it.
Whatever you do,
don't sneeze or breathe. Well, right now we're pretty much wearing masks. I am all the whole time, just not while I'm teaching right now. Trace has one on, thank you, Trey. She can't smell my coffee breath. So I'm just kind of tracing the outside of this. So you kind of could see the different dimension it's giving a little.
I think one thing you had said earlier that really applies to something like this is you may not see what it all come to life right now, but once you get that gel on top,
yes,
everything pops.
And that's the exciting part, actually. Okay, so you could kind of see a little bit the different colors. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cure her for like about 30 seconds is plenty. My next color is going to be my Party Ninja, some gold flake, and Disco Rodeo. And I'm going to put a coat of base on. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna do just a few gold because I'm gonna do gold in layers. I want it to kind of look like a nugget around it, kind of a gold trim. I want it to try to kind of make it look like it's deep inside there, so when I'm done, you're looking inside of it. Okay, I'm gonna take some of my Party Ninja. That looks really cool. I'm gonna put a little bit of this disco vibe here. Just a tad bit, I don't want to overpower it. Like really just a little bit. See how I'm just putting a few here and there? I kind of want to put a little more resolution right here. Or Funkadelic, either or what you have. Okay. Let's take our gold leafing. I'm going to kind of outline it and kind of have it a little chunky through here. I think this part probably takes the longest. I've done this before, something similar, not exactly this. And this part here, I'm going to do it a little different this time because I want to make it look more dimensional. And that's the thing, you'll find when you do a design, it'll look nice, but on the next person you do it, you kind of change it up and make it even better.
So the first one is just a guinea pig?
Yeah, pretty much. I just do that, it's weird. Or I add different, and then some people like me like pink more or whatever, so I'll add a little bit of that color for them. Okay. So I'm gonna flash set this, 30 seconds. It looks cool, but you really can't see the dimension in it yet. As I start layering it, some you will. I'm gonna put a layer on top after I'm done filing. Take Build Pink, come in here. Oh yeah, you could see it now. If you look real close, the middle part looks like really deep and the gold part, I think the rim starts changing a little. Pretty cool. I usually need more right here, so I went back in the pot and got a little bit more. Okay, 30 seconds, flash cure it. Okay, so again, look at your side. I did pretty well with it. I may add a little bit more through right here. Just a little bit. Come in right here, float it. See, I keep my brush a little more flatter. Just kind of fill in that spot. I put a little more pressure on the free edge. I really don't want a thick free edge. But if you end up with one, that's fine too. It files very easy. Okay, 30-second cure. Well, actually, 60-second cure. Let's fully cure that one. The other ones probably have cured 60 seconds, but it's not going to hurt them. So final cure, 60 seconds. So let's take a look at what these look like. Kind of looks like I don't know what I'm doing, right? This is the great part about gel. You go through it pretty fast. It has its structure right. Once I file in my sides and bring it tight, it's all going to come together. So I'll be back with the finished result, or actually I'm going to add to this one, so I'll show you how to do that after I file. Okay, so now I've filed all three of them, and sometimes when you do a full coverage color inside, you file away a little bit of the color, sometimes a little bit of the glitter, but they're still structurally right. I'm going to show you how to fix all those. So let's fix this one first. What I'm going to do is protein bond all three. Making sure you get all the way to the cuticle area. So that's where I'm going to add some. As you can see right there, some of the black's missing. Totally fine. A lot of times that's where people think they messed up. It happens all the time. So I'm going to ManiQ top all of them first. The reason why I like to ManiQ top first is when I try to go in and fill the negative spots that I filed out, it kind of looks jaggedy, it doesn't look even. If I put like a gel top coat and cure it, it seems to really hold on great and look more smooth. So it's just a little trick I do. You could use Stay Resistant, whatever, anything with a tacky layer. So make sure you cover everything. This is when you see your designs come to life, really see what they look like. Okay, so we'll cure this 30 seconds. Okay, so on this one I used red 102. So I could do red 102. I could put a little green, but I think I want more red on the top because the way the colors are going. So what I'm going to do, you could either take it off of here or you could put some on your palette, whatever's easier for you. While I teach, this is probably easier for me to put what I need here. The colors that I'm going to touch up with. So I'll say the colors on the nail that I'm on, what I'm using. Let me put a little bit of ruby on there. I do work off my tile a lot. It's easy to clean and it's easy to have your palette of all your colors. So I'm going to do red 102. Take your time. I'll put a little gold on my palette. I think I want to put it into gold. You could go through it with red, but it kind of keeps your pattern going if you switch it to gold at this point. Have a little pad just to wipe. Look at all your sides of your nail and make sure you're covering everything. Okay, that looks really good. So now I'm going to go to my next color, which is Scarlet Red. I'm going to come through here. I'm going to go into my glitter, Ruby. I kind of overshot, not a big deal. Just make sure you clean it before you cure it. There we go. And it's not flowing anywhere right now. It's kind of holding on because the ManiQ top's on there. Then I'm going to go into my Look Don't Touch and my Go Time. There we go. So now let's cure that for 30 seconds. Okay, so now I'm going to add my foil on top of here into the sticky residue of my ManiQ top. So what I'm going to do is just kind of break it up. If you don't have long nails, use your orange wood stick or the back of your magic wand is fine as well. Okay, so I'm going to kind of get my brush a little wet with sticky residue and then finish my circle around it. I'm kind of just trying to follow the outline of my glitter. So what this is going to do, I could have done it all inside, but I really wanted to customize it. So I wanted it to look deep inside there and kind of low with what I encapsulated. You'll see when I put the top coat on. So a nail that takes this much work is a little more than a regular encapsulated nail. When you're hand doing a lot, the price needs to be a little more because it takes a little more time. It's a little more custom. So I'm looking down the barrel, trying to make sure everything's flat. If there's a rough spot at the end, it's not a big deal. I could always buff it. So what I'll do here is put a ManiQ top one more time. I honestly think it's gonna self-level when I put my final top coat on all of them. So you see what I'm doing, how I'm looking down the barrel. If I see one kind of sticking up a little, I'll get it and lighten my touch and it will self-level over it. So I'm going to cure this for about 30 seconds. So now I'm going to top coat all of them with our new ultimate finish. I love the shine of this color, of this top coat I should say. So pretty. This one just looks like jewelry or eye candy. It reminds me of cinnamon, like cinnamon candy or something. This one you could wear for the holidays all through the new year. You could wear any of them. But this one kind of has like a little Christmassy vibe, but definitely New Year's. Okay, so now I'll final cure them. I like to cure them for 2 minutes. It requires 1, and 1 does work. I do 2 because it's easier for me to clean up my station. They're under the light, and I kind of like, it ensures the high shine. And by 2 minutes, I have everything put away. And she's done.
thank you for watching our videos. We've got a ton more. Click right over here. And also, don't forget to subscribe. Do that by clicking right over here.